It's been such a wonderful day, and yes, my name is Molly Sunshine, but guess what? I couldn't control the weather today, so I'm sorry about all that. We had some rain, but you know, when Marilyn asked me to speak today, I thought, oh my gosh, Molly Sunshine Group, and here I am at bright lights. I'm like, I'm in my heaven here. I don't know if anyone ever got to see any of my background, but I work at Westchester University in training and organizational development. So what that is I do coaching, consulting, and training, but I also love doing Molly Sunshine Group, and that's where I get out and motivate people to really live their best life. Tonight, I figured the greatest thing to focus on is the cost model. Cost model. How many of you want to spend a ton of money tonight? They all want you to say yes. Because they are running great specials tonight. Did you hear 40% off this whole store? I'm like, hello, we just remodeled our kitchen. I'm going to get busy with it. So, but we're not here necessarily to, yes, they want you to spend money, but we're going to focus on the cost model. The cost model to being sunshine productivity comprises of four things. Cost, change, organization, stress, and time. How many of you are here to get stressed? Oh, good. Okay. That's what we're going to do. How many of you would love to find more time in your life? Yeah. There you go. Yes, exactly. Change and organization are two things that kind of rock our worlds with that. Change. What does change mean to all of you? When you think of change, what do you think of? Growth. Anyone else?
Different stuff.
Different stuff. What else? What else has changed? How about uncertainty, fear? The things that can kind of get in your brain, as Seth Godin says, it's like the monkey in your brain, and kind of shake things up a little bit. Well, I'll tell you right now, the cost model, it's either going to launch you into your own greatness, or it's going to cost you a lot of money, and time, and stress. So what I'm going to give you today, in 7 minutes, yeah, I'm Superwoman too, I play one on TV. And what I'm going to give you is a couple golden nuggets to really take away from here, so that you can really leave here feeling that, you know what, this cost model of having this sunshine productivity, I can do this. Because what you don't know about me is I also built 3 different companies in 3 years and wrote, run number 5, books within 3 years while working full-time. And Tyler, how old are you?
7.
7-year-old. You know, so it's a lot of things that we're having at once. And yes, there's my husband Dan, of course, the whole family. You have things that are happening in your life. So the cost model is being really change. So I want to tell you right now, there's something called the force field analysis, where you really look at the things that you want to change and the things that are taking you off of really doing well to move through that change. And then you look at the things that can help you. Because so often we find these things that take us off our path and we spend more time on those things. Right? What are we doing? Why are we doing that? So when you leave here, I want you to think of change and say, you know what, change. What are the things that are messing with me and not allowing me to move through this? How do I minimize that? When you look at the things that can help you, I'll tell you, there's 3 women right there that are there, and I just met you tonight. You know, there are a lot of people around you that you're the average of the 10 people you spend the most time with. Think about that. Are you cool with that? Do you need to kick some people off your bus? Who can you? And when will you? So think about that in regards to change. C. You go over to O, organization. Organization. This place looks fairly organized, right? It's organized by lights. No, I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. But what you see here is like everything has a place. Think about the kindergarten classroom. How many of you went to kindergarten? Okay, good job, everyone. Think about what the kindergarten setup was. What were some... Ty, you can't play.
He's heard this before.
No, he hasn't. He's in first grade, so it's just close to memory.
I just know about kindergarten.
So when you think of kindergarten, how is a room set up? Think about what a kindergarten room might have. want to help out the team? All right, give them a hint.
Like there's four tables. And they're organized by colors like yellow, green, blue, and red.
Okay, so they might be coded with something. It might say, okay, these are our colors, but you might have common things that things are placed, which makes sense. By the way, if you're at home for the whole family, if you're at work for the whole work environment, don't be setting up a whole system without informing the people who are also sharing that space, right? Then you're dealing with S and T, stress and not enough time to find whatever it is you're looking for. So I want to tell you right now that kindergarten classroom, you have a place for everything. You have a place to put your stuff, you have a place to do the reading, you have the place to, wash your hands. Everything has a place. And when you think about your space, your stuff, it takes it to the next level, because there's three things I want you to think about organization. Three things. And I know I'm asking you to do a lot. We're at 7:30 right now. But really analyze, strategize, and attack. What do you think most people do? What do they hit first? Out of those three, which one do they do first typically?
Attack.
Attack. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this clutter. What am I going to do? Put it all away. And what happens at the same time? The next week, you're attacking it again. So my suggestion to you is to think about, when you go to organize your stuff, you're doing the analyze, strategize, then attack. Because I'll tell you right now, if there's something that someone loses, I know plan A or plan B, and there better not be a plan C, because guess what? The system's not working. So when you have that and you make that conscious effort, you're going to be finding yourself more time. We're going to get into the time, but before we get into the time, it's the S, stress. How many of you want to add stress to your life? Good. Eat more, drink more, it's all good. No, that's not my strategy. Well, if it works, no. Whatever works for you, right? But stress. I found something, somebody said, okay, Molly Sunshine Group. Molly, you're always happy. What is up with that? How can you be always happy? You don't sleep at all, do you? Oh my gosh, you got to be a terrible mother. It's like you're always out, because I have 3 businesses, full-time job, crazy stuff, right? I'll tell you right now, Molly Sunshine has a bad day. Yes, it's on the record. I have a bad day. But what I do is I know how to segment it. When it happens, I address it. Sometimes I'm able to segment it. Sometimes I have to do expressive writing. Is there anybody who enjoys writing? Is there anybody, cheers to you. Is there anybody who enjoys talking through whatever their thoughts are? Does anybody like to talk to their friend and make their day absolutely miserable? No, I'm kidding. That's not what we're going to do. But what I want you to think about, Dr. Panabaker gave me this gem. I know you all do it. We all have those moments, and I'm going to tell you that's okay too. Bring the solutions. And if you're a verbal person, you're just going to talk through this methodology. If you are a writer, you're going to do what Dr. Panabaker says to do. You're going to write about what it is, write about what, and it's only going to be 20 minutes, folks. 20 minutes writing assignment, that's all you're going to give yourself. You're going to say, what is it? What have I done so far to try to remedy it? What else are my options? And what's going to happen if I don't do something about it? So many people forget the last one. What's going to happen if I don't do anything about it? That's the motivator. When I spend that 20 minutes, you're able to work right through it. It's that stress level. Worrying? Anybody ever have a worry? It's a natural to worry. Have a worry spot. When you have that worry come into your head, write it down. Say, I have a worry spot that I do it. Because if you don't have that spot that you worry, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go to bright lights and worry. You're going to go to the mall and worry. You're going to go to wherever you are and you're going to worry. And then you're just going to be consumed with negative energy. And you're not going to be able to move forward. Well, your chances are less likely, let's say. So that's the stress factor. And coming home with the T, meaning time. My father owned a baby shoe manufacturing company. And every Saturday morning, before going into work in his baby shoe manufacturing, he would put on Earl Nightingale. Wow, blast from the past. If you don't know who he is, he's like the Tony Robbins of back in the day. He's like the Brian Tracy's, that kind of genre, that era. So I'd sit there, okay, Dad, okay, Dad. But I tell you, what I do is his interruption record. I want you for 1 week to track your interruptions. How long was it? How productive was it? And how do you limit if it was something negative or it wasn't a good interaction, it was a waste of time? I call them plop downs. And then 30 minutes later you're like, really? Are you still there? Think about that interruption record. So look to see how much time you really have. How many of you have a to-do list at home? Or on you? Or in your, yeah. You know what? We all have that. I want you to think about how much you tried to plan in one day. I, on average, have about 3 hours of uninterrupted time a day. I used to have 10 hours worth of work. Like, Molly, you're setting yourself up to be stressed, change adverse, and unorganized. What are you doing? So when you actually look and do this interruption record, you're going to see what time you really do have and think more strategically as to how to best plan that out. Lastly, the T, time. We said Earl Nightingale, the interruption record. The last one is actually using Covey. I love Covey. How many of you have ever read The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People? You know, it's actually the second most popular book bought besides the what? What do you think?
Secret.
Bible. Yeah, The Secret's good too. I have to admit. I'm a big fan, but that's a whole nother session.
That is a whole nother session.
But what happens with this, and I love it because he says we can't manage time. We can't manage time. So what we have is a time matrix. What we have are 4 different quadrants that he says. What do we need to eliminate? What do we need to delegate? What are we doing spending in our reactive quadrant? There are things that we're running around, doing things, and we feel like we're chasing our tail here. Yeah, this is fun. Maybe I'm burning calories. Maybe I'm not. Man, I just got dizzy on that one. but what happens, though, is you need to focus on that productivity quadrant. That's the last one. If you don't spend time on that, you're not going to reduce the amount of time that you actually spend on that reactive. That fire, burning. There's always going to be some kind of fire burning, and that's okay. Embrace it. It's a part of life. But there are certain things that we can do to minimize it. So focus on some of those proactive quadrants. So the cost model, even if you do some of these golden nuggets, you're going to be able to shine bright. You know, and I'm not saying every day you're going to shine as bright as these beautiful chandeliers, but be aware of when the light starts dimming. Go back to the cost model and see where you need to adjust so that your productivity will be able to shine bright. Just like all these beautiful chandeliers. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you take a couple nuggets and share what you learned, because that's how we grow. Thank you, everyone.